celebrities calling out the Blue Horizon all-female space nonsense. Now even Wendy's is roasting them.
Okay, babe, let's get into it because this one, it's a mess and not the kind that's cute.
Flynn, I gotcha. Flynn.
And think about how many resources went into putting these women into space. For what? I'm disgusted, literally.
Katy Perry, yes, Miss Teenage Dream herself, just took a literal rocket ride into space with Blue Origin, and it was supposed to be the kind of girl boss history-making move that would slap legacy era across every headline.
Trouble when the fast food giant Wendy's is taking aim on you on social media, and boy did they ever.
Picture it, all-female crew, billionaire-backed spacecraft, Katy in a metallic jumpsuit looking like Sailor Moon meets Star Trek. The press rollout was ready to paint her as the pop star turned space queen, but instead of the empowering space age fantasy we were promised, this whole thing spiraled into a PR nightmare. And the reason? 4 brutal words from the most unexpected place. Wendy's Twitter account.
Space nonsense, for calling it out for what it is, which was a just disgustingly weird fake PR stunt.
Literally minutes after Katy's mission wrapped and she touched back down to Earth, Wendy's, you know, the fast food chain that thinks it's a stand-up comic, tweeted, "Can we send her back?" No context, no follow-up, just full shade at terminal velocity. And girl, that tweet hit like a meteor. The internet went insane. It instantly derailed the entire narrative. Nobody cared about the mission anymore. Nobody talked about the scientific achievement or the feminist milestone. Suddenly, all eyes were on the tweet, the roast, and the absolute collapse of Katy's post-flight PR glow-up.
Oh my God. They're training? They did 2 days.
The second that tweet hit, it was game over. Twitter, or X, or whatever Elon's calling it this week, exploded. Hashtags like "Num send her back," "New Wendy's is petty," and "Leave Katy alone" were trending within an hour. One half of the internet was gagging, saying Wendy's won the timeline, calling it savage and iconic. The other half? Fully outraged, calling it misogynistic, mean-spirited, and disrespectful to women in science. Some people were tweeting, "LMAO Wendy's is too real," while others were like, "So we're roasting women for going to space. Now, this is why we can't have nice things." It was a digital food fight with Katy's legacy caught in the crossfire.
Their tasks included practicing how to get into and out of the New Shepard capsule.
Now you'd think after the chaos, Wendy's might issue a real apology. Girl, no. They gave the most non-apology apology in brand history. They tweeted, "We always bring spice to our socials, but we have tons of respect for Katy Perry and her out-of-this-world talent. Babe, that is not an apology. That's giving PR intern with a Canva template and a smug smile." Fans weren't buying it. The damage was already done. The meme had legs. And by the time they issued that weak little follow-up, the internet had already made t-shirts, remixed the tweet into TikTok audios, and turned Katy's spacewalk into meme material.
It was Wendy's, the red-haired fast food chain, that really put them in their place.
Meanwhile, behind the scenes, full panic. Sources close to Katy say her team was shook. They were expecting morning show interviews, puff pieces, maybe even a Netflix doc deal. Instead, they were putting out fires from a tweet about sending her back into space like she was space junk. The worst part? There was no clean way to fix it. If she clapped back at Wendy's, she'd look pressed. If she ignored it, it looked like she got humbled. And if she joked about it, babe, that just invites more memes. Her team was in a classic you can't win PR spiral, and honestly, Wendy's played the internet like a fiddle.
Can we send her back? That was the response here as Katy Perry has returned from space.
This was supposed to be Katy's new era, a post-pop queen renaissance, a moment of empowerment and edge. Instead, she got memed into a PR cautionary tale. Her big "look at me now" moment turned into a digital roast session, and there's no putting that tweet back in the box. The fact that it came from Wendy's, a burger brand, just made it worse. Like, imagine going to actual space, risking your life for a history-making mission, and getting bodied by a red-headed cartoon. With a spicy nugget deal, that's the power of the internet. And once it flips on you, it flips hard.
After you go through an experience like that, you are more than a team. You are a family.
If you've been online in the past decade, you already know Wendy's didn't just hop on Twitter to sell burgers. She logged on with an attitude, a side of disrespect, and a full-time job of dragging anyone who looked at her wrong. The brand reinvented itself as the sarcastic, sass-tweeting queen of the fast food world. And honestly, it worked. She called McDonald's flavorless, asked Burger King what it was like to always be second, and turned every National Roast Day into a bloodbath. Wendy's is basically that girl in high school who got straight A's but also ran a gossip blog on the side. And for a while, everyone loved it. The snarky, no-filter tone made brands look more relatable and in touch. But somewhere along the way, it stopped being cute and started feeling weirdly aggressive, especially when they started taking aim at real people. Dragging a rival brand? Funny. Dragging an actual human being who just flew to space? Different. Energy. That's why the Katy tweet hit different. People weren't expecting that level of savagery aimed at someone who just did something low-key historic. It felt like Wendy's went from funny unhinged to, this is a little mean. And when a joke turns into a public dragging that hijacks a whole moment, babe, that's not PR. That's pettiness with a blue check.
They are not holding back and they're not deleting it, and I say bravo. This isn't mean, this is criticism.
Let's be honest, the Wendy's tweet landed the way it did because Katy Perry has been in the internet's crosshairs for years. And honestly, we need to unpack why. Once upon a time, she was untouchable. From I Kissed a Girl to Teenado, Dream to Roar, she owned pop music. Stadium tours, Super Bowl halftime show, magazine covers, every teen's ringtone, she was that girl. But somewhere between 2017 and now, the public vibe shifted. The Witness era confused people. The short platinum pixie cut was not embraced by the fans. The quirky humor stopped being seen as relatable weird girl and started getting labeled as try-hard cringe. Add a few awkward American Idol, a couple of viral red carpet flops, and some questionable tweets, and boom. The internet decided she was fair game. So when Wendy's threw that tweet out, it wasn't a roast, it was a signal. The internet, hey, it's open season on Katy again. And everyone who'd quietly waiting to pounce suddenly had permission. Dug up old made side-by edits and started reposting that one gif her in the whipped cream bra like it was 2010. It was like a digital witch hunt with burger buns and meme filters. And what's sad? None of this would happen to Beyonce, or Taylor, or Rihanna. The reason it happened to Katy is because the internet decided she's her prime. And once they do that, babe, they treat like a punchline, not a person.
Jeff Bezos basically put his girlfriend and her pals into a giant vibrator, shot them into orbit for 10 minutes.
Let's get serious for a sec because this Wendy's Katy situation shines a spotlight on something. Brands are now the bullies. Like, how did we go from using Twitter to update store hours to dragging pop stars out of their spacesuits? Somewhere along the way, corporate accounts started chasing clout like teenagers with burner accounts. They want engagement, they want retweets, they want Gen Z clout, and if that means roasting a celeb during their post-glow-up, apparently, so be it. But here's the thing. This strategy used to be effective. It got laughs, it got clicks, made companies look cool, but feeling desperate. The internet's shifting. People are more sensitive to online cruelty. They can tell when a brand is trying too hard. And Wendy's choosing this moment, right when Katy was finally getting good press for something bold and inspiring, felt cheap. It wasn't clever. It wasn't witty. It was just mean. What started as edgy marketing now feels like weaponized brands pretending to be your 1 minute and the next. They're dragging fab with the same tone they used to sell 4 for $4 combos. And what's wild is these brands throw shade and then hide behind "we're just being went out." But babe, if an individual tweeted that about Katy, they'd get and reported. Wendy's gets free press and a boost in followers.
Was this really worthy? And not to mention now there's all theories that this whole thing was faked.
Let's not pretend this was just a one-time tweet that came in. The reason it hit so was because it tapped into every insecurity Katy's had to face publicly. Every time the industry counted her out. Every time the fans turned on. Every time she labeled cringe instead of iconic, she's clawed her way back into the conversation after every L. She's been mocked, memed, and misread more than any pop girl of her generation. But she still kept moving. She still performed. She still released music. She literally went to space to shift the narrative, and instead of getting the respect she deserved, she got treated like a joke. Again. So no, this wasn't just a tweet. This was a reminder that the internet still hasn't forgiven Katy for falling off, and they'll use any excuse, even a space mission, to remind her.
Talking
All
about
their
getting in
training.
and out of a car.
All their
Basically.
training. It comes down to this. Can we hear the beginning of that again? I need to hear that again. Let's just play it again.
And here's the real kicker. You know who actually won in the whole drama? The algorithm. That's it. Not Wendy's, not Katy, just clicks, chaos, and comment section warfare. Got some short-term engagement, Katy got trend-jacked, and the internet got its favorite thing, a public figure to drag with corporate permission. It boosted burger sales. It didn't help Katy's image. It didn't uplift anything. It just fed the cycle of snark, outrage, clout, silence. Honestly, we should be asking, how does that leave celebrities who actually try to do something bold or different? If going to space isn't safe being turned into a meme, babe, what is?
I think people are being mean here. We're over it, and we're over the fakeness.
Let's get real. Katy's not just dealing with a viral roast, she's dealing with a reputation relapse. This spaceflight was supposed to be her fresh era launch, literally, a way to pivot the conversation away from flop era memes and into something bold, grown, and impossible to ignore. Like, she literally left Earth. There are astronauts who don't have that on their resume. But instead of reclaiming her narrative, she got dragged back into the mess she's been trying to outgrow for years. Now, every time someone Googles Katy Perry space, they're not getting headlines about female empowerment or boundary breaking. They're getting tweets, jokes, side-eyes, and Wendy's memes. Her entire mission got overshadowed by a joke that took 5 seconds to write. And babe, that's not just a PR nightmare, that's legacy sabotage.
And wear the suits that were designer and showed Lauren Sanchez's boobs. Okay.
This situation just proves something a lot of pop girls already know. When the internet decides you're cringy, you could literally cure world hunger. Someone would quote tweet you with mid. Katy could have done this flight in a Versace spacesuit while performing Dark Horse in zero gravity, and they still would have found a way to mock her. It's the cycle we've seen with other women in pop: too extra, too try hard, too weird. And when you try to rebrand, the internet treats it like desperation. Like it's thirsty, want relevance. Like it's pathetic to still care. And that's their double standard. If Harry Styles gone to space, it would have been hot, iconic. Taylor Swift did it. She'd be the first musician orbit, time cover, Netflix doc deal incoming. But Katy? She's the girl who got ratioed by a burger tweet. That's what happens when your public persona gets labeled uncool. You can do it right and still get reduced to one roast. And honestly, it's watching women get for just showing up.
People are objecting badly to Dr. Luke's presence on Katy Perry's new single is because the singer Kesha, who is a protege of his, accused him of sexually assaulting her in, I think, 2014.
Let's talk fandom. Because the reaction to this whole situation wasn't just casual internet chaos, it hit deep in Katy's fan base, and they're split. Half the Katy Cats are fighting tooth and nail, defending her honor, quote, tweeting. Wendy's with receipts and saying, you don't get to drag a woman for achieving something just because it's trendy to hate her. And they're right. It is weird how quickly people pile on the moment a woman dares to be earnest and ambitious. But the other half, even some of her fans were like, why is she doing this? Asked for this space thing. What is the angle here? It's the harsh truth. Even her own base seems unsure of the branding. Is she a girl, a space pioneer, reality judge, a legacy act? Confusion is the problem. When your identity in pop murky, people don't know whether to root for you or meme you. And the internet smells confusion. They don't uplift. They attack.
I am so bothered by it. You are not a feminist icon, Lauren Sanchez. You're not. You married someone very wealthy.
Let's be real. Katy's next move was already going to be delicate. She's no longer the shiny new pop star. She's not the nostalgic icon either. She's in that murky in-between space where the headline can end a comeback or even... And now that she's been memed into oblivion for going to space, the stakes just got higher. Whatever she had next, an album, a new brand partnership, a campaign, is now totally at risk. People are looking at her sideways, waiting for the next punchline, waiting to say, oh no, she's that now? This tweet didn't just derail a moment, it warped the people are going to react to everything she does next. Because instead of, wow, Katy's reinventing herself, it's, here we go again. And babe, let's not it. Brands notice that. Executives notice that. Streams, sales, impressions, all of that is affected by public mood. And right now, the mood around Katy is unstable, not because of her, but because she's become a symbol, and not in the way she hoped.
Or perhaps a year or two before that. There was a long court battle. It was settled just last year. It was very damaging for both of them, quite honestly.
We have to talk about accountability here, because at what point do we stop laughing and start asking, why is a multi-billion brand punching down on a woman trying to do something new? Wendy's didn't just throw shade, they derailed. An empowering moment gave the entire internet a free pass to mock someone who didn't do anything controversial. It wasn't edgy. It wasn't funny. It was mean. Plain and that's not on Katy. On corporate culture trying to stay relevant by hijacking real people's moments and turning them into content. There's a difference in roasting a company and tearing down a person. And if you're a brand with power, a platform, maybe don't be the one throwing the first, because if a pop girl has to literally leave Earth to earn a public grace and still gets sent back the burger roast, maybe the problem isn't her, maybe the is.
He maintained the entire time that he was innocent, that he did nothing.
So here's the million-dollar question, babe. Is Katy done? Is this the beginning of the rebirth she never asked for? Because be honest, the internet loves to cancel, but it also lives for a comeback. And if anyone knows how to bounce back, glitter, drama, and a little wink to the camera, it's Katy freaking. But this time, the path isn't about albums or singles or sequins. It's about owning the narrative. She can't the tweet. She can't act like it didn't the memes. She had to walk into the fire with heels on and say, yeah, y'all laughed. Now let's talk about why. Because the second she leans into the mess with confidence and self-awareness, the internet shifts. It always does. One good interview, one savage comeback performance, one moment of actual vulnerability. And boom, the public remembers why they loved her in the first place. But if she doesn't take control of the moment, if she lets Wendy's tweet be the last word, babe, that's her next era dies before it's even born.
Look, I understand that it started a lot of conversations, and he was one of many collaborators that I collaborated with.
Let's zoom out again, because this isn't just about Katy. It's about what the industry does to women who don't fade away quietly. They don't know what to do with pop stars who stick around, who evolve, who get weird, who don't retire neatly after their 5th album. The moment a woman tries to reinvent herself, the public gets uncomfortable. And the moment she missteps, they call it embarrassing, or delusional, or worse, they stop taking her seriously altogether. But here's the thing, Katy never played the industry's game. From the whipped cream bras to the alien wigs to the awkward political, she always did it her way. And sure, but it also made her unforgettable. And now, the same that once praised her for being bold and quirky is standing by while she gets dragged by a fast food chain. Girl, make it make sense. Maybe it's time the industry stops waiting for pop women to stay cool forever and starts supporting them when they evolve. Even if it's chaotic, because chaos is culture now. Let's get real. Wendy's might have thought they ate with that tweet. But babe, they might have just exposed how tired this social media strategy really is. Like, how many times can we keep pretending that a burger brand bullying a celebrity is iconic before we realize it's actually lazy? Wendy's has been doing this same shtick for years. It was funny in 2016, but now it's giving old millennial trying to go viral. And the Katy Perry tweet didn't feel bold. It felt safe. Like, oh, let's pick the pop star everyone clowns already. Low risk, high engagement. But the backlash showed something new. People are getting bored of the gimmick, the drag for likes. Formula is cracking. And for once, the internet didn't just laugh, they questioned why it happened at all. So instead of looking like the cool, unbothered brand, Wendy's came off messy, corporate messy, the kind of messy that has a Slack channel full of interns debating whether it's too early to make another Dua Lipa joke. You know what got lost in all of this? The fans, Katy's real ones, the ones who were genuinely proud of her, who watched her launch from being a CCM girly to a pop queen to a space-traveling feminist icon. This was supposed to be a win for them too, but instead of celebrating, they had to defend her. Again. They had to watch as people at the mission ignored the science, ignored the point, just to quote tweet a joke from a brand account that sells square burgers. And honestly, it's exhausting. Because being a fan shouldn't mean defending your fave from viral humiliation. It should watching her grow, evolve, and take risks without worrying about whether her press cycle is going to get by some brand. Chasing clout. Katy Perry deserved better. And so did people who still believe in her. So what are we left with? A moment that should have been iconic, derailed by a joke that wasn't even clever. A pop star who took a literal rocket to space and still couldn't outrun a culture that refuses to let her live. A fast food chain. That proved it's still stuck in the same tired Twitter routine. And an internet that laughed, memed, and moved on, without realizing the emotional weight they just dumped on a woman who was simply trying to do something different. But here's what they don't get. Katy always rises from the mess. She's been counted out before. She's been clowned before. And every time, she turns it into a comeback. So, if Wendy's thought they ended her era with a forward tweet, babe, they clearly forgot who they were tweeting about. Katy's not just a pop star. She's a fighter. A weird, campy, chaotic, bold, endlessly entertaining one. And that's why we still talk about her. So, what do you think, babe? Did Wendy's take it too far? Was Katy just trying to inspire and got memed for it? Can she bounce back from being the internet's favorite roast of the week? Again? Or was this the spark she needed to finally flip the narrative once and for all? Drop your thoughts in the comments, blow it up, defend your girl, or spill your truth. And if you live for deep dives into the messiest moments in pop culture, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss a meltdown this big, because one day she was in space. The next day, she was trending. And in 2025, that's just how fast a queen gets dragged.